I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anakin. For all of it.
I am not your failure, Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. The same way, I will destroy you.
Then my friend is truly dead.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy. It's Con. Somber as ever after that absolutely ridiculously emotional intro from the final episode of Kenobi season 1. Whether we get season 2, you know, there's rumors that we're getting season 2. There's, you know, who knows. Guys, this episode is a longer one, and very much enjoyed recording it. We have myself, we have Jay Breezy, of course, the Cantina Splicer, the Casual Kid, and, of course, we have a returning guest, Kill Key Factory Niles. Go over to Kill Key Factory at Etsy and use code CANTINA for 10% off of your order of all your Kill Key needs that fit all your lightsabers. Feel free to message myself, and then we can help you pick those things for you. Guys, this episode, absolutely insane. Checked a lot of the boxes that we were looking for. What a finale that we saw. Of course, guys, Con's Cantina at all the following. Con's Cantina Instagram, Facebook, our Facebook group, and our Discord, all in our link tree. Twitter, of course, is also there. And TikTok, we're the only place we are different. Con's Cantina podcast on TikTok. Guys, this episode is brought to you by our Patreons. Thank you very much for every single one of you who continue to support us. Guys, this episode was insane. Seriously, it was absolutely insane. But everybody, we are a Cantina podcast. So we're going to go into the Cantina right now.
Welcome to Con's Cantina. What are you having? But remember, no droids.
Tell me how this has been like the longest week and it's only Wednesday, guys.
Ugh.
Like,
For real.
seriously.
Don't bring it up.
Already sick of it. But look, I'm going to show you guys how to make the most disgusting drink ever. I know you're super excited. Niles and Justin are spinning in the graves that they have not been put into yet. I am going to be making a...
Ooh, that's going to be strong.
Yes, it
I
is.
see some OGD.
Yep.
What's the percentage on that?
This is Old Granddad 114. We are going to be making a whiskey sour. A lot of people ask for whiskey sours, and I think that people are actually getting whiskey sweets. I don't think people are getting actual whiskey sours. I think that is a huge problem. So we are going with 3 ounces of my choice of bourbon. You look, if you're a longtime listener, you already know. If you don't have Old Granddad 114, you don't deserve legs. So anyway, after we pour in our 3 ounces, if you do have a jigger, it is going to be the top one. We have 2.
Ooh, a handled jigger?
Yep. Well, hey.
Careful.
Shout outs to Aldi.
With a J. Jigger with
Shout
a
outs to Aldi, right? We are going to do a tablespoon of homemade yeah, my shaker broke. So and Liz has my other one.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Liz has the other one. All right, so we're doing a tablespoon of homemade simple syrup. If you don't make homemade simple syrup, you're going to get pink eye.
Oh, my.
Very easy.
Yeah. Then, of course, if you don't squeeze your mom's citrus, I don't know what you're doing. Don't buy your own citrus. Go to your parents' house. They have citrus. Steal it from them.
Or plant trees like I did.
Or plant trees.
Blatant content stealing right now.
Isn't it great? Dude, he's my favorite. He's my favorite. All right, so Yeti for the shaker.
Like a
That's
man.
a great idea.
It works, and I can reuse the ice because it's not going to melt. How about that?
True. Yeah, good. Good point.
You know what? Hang on. I came prepared. I almost caught myself slipping again.
Oh.
I even brought the strainer because we don't want those juices in there, or the pulp. No pulp. Only in orange juice do we have pulp. Look at that color. No
Very nice.
No
Very
egg whites
nice.
on this end. No salmonella for this guy.
I gotta have the egg white.
No.
Okay. Way better with the old Granddad 114. I had one earlier with Long Branch, and Justin, I'll give it to you, okay? Wild Turkey 101, it is won my heart. But all other Wild Turkey is booty cheeks. Every bit of it.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. It's all bad. This is fantastic. 7 out of 10 Hidden Jedi coming out for this one.
Nice.
Oh, you went up on your score from your first one.
Yeah. Oh, that first one was. I'm telling you, it was the Wild Turkey, man. That there's something about that Long Branch. That Long Branch just, it doesn't mix well. I don't know what it is. Anyway,
It's rough.
it is. Yeah.
I got. Speaking of Aldi, I have an Aldi beer for today. This is the
that is Trader Joe's for you,
It's
Justin.
pronounced Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
it is the it's the Merchant's Keep IPA. It's fairly standard. 6%. Think of what an IPA tastes like, just a regular one. That's what this tastes like. That's it. It's baseline. But when you're in the mood for an IPA, it is perfect. So it's been hot. This sounded great.
Nothing to write home about, but a classic.
Yes. It's a staple. There we go. Staple.
No, I like stable. The horses sound like a way better idea.
And because of that, I'm gonna give it a 5. It's just middle of the road. But yeah, 5 Hidden Jedi would definitely risk their lives to grab one of these bad boys.
That's like the lower level Jedis, right? Like maybe a youngling or two, some old Padawans like Justin. They're the ones that fall for it.
Some drunk kids?
Yeah,
Some drunk kids.
I was about to say. These are the old grizzled alcoholics.
The old grizzled, yeah. I was
I have
telling
to time my
Justin
jokes
today.
in advance.
Yeah. You have to anticipate what we're saying. No, I told Justin today, I was like, I'm in my 30s now, and I had a great epiphany today. If you stop in the middle of the day
Man,
because
that's
you're
it.
having lunch at work,
Look much older.
and wow, and you have a day beer, good for you. But if you bring a beer to you with work, then you're an alcoholic. Then you're an alcoholic. Okay, there's the line. We found the line. You can buy a beer at lunch on the clock. You can't bring it from home. So as long as everyone's on the same
legit.
page. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Niles, what are you drinking?
This is something I wanted to try. I've never had before. It's called a busted pipe, and it's equal parts bourbon and Amaro, which Amaro Nonino, I think it is, which is like Italian liqueur, kind of like Aperol, but it's
Love
a
the
lot
name.
darker and sweet. I think probably a little bit. It's not an almond liqueur like Di Serono or something, but it's very sweet. And then you put in an orange peel in a Luxardo and just stir it. So
That glass
know.
is sick.
oh yeah, thanks. I love these. But I don't know. The problem is it basically just tastes like whiskey with some simple syrup in it. Like the Amaro isn't come out enough to justify it, because that Amaro is like $60 a bottle, and it doesn't come out enough in the drink to really justify mixing. So
Jeez.
I probably wouldn't make this again. I'd give it like maybe a 3 out of 10. It tastes
Dang.
good, but it's
Is it overly sweet?
Where'd you hear about that?
it
one?
is sweet. I just looked it up because I was looking up. I have a bottle of Amaro because it goes in paper planes, which are awesome. So I was just like, well, what else can I make with this? So I looked it up, and that was like the first thing that came up. So it's a great liqueur. It's too expensive to mix into something you can't taste it in, really.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot with Aperol. Like I discovered like Aperol spritz like not that long ago. I don't know why. I just never been exposed to them, and had them for the first time, and now like Aperol drinks is just something that I want so bad because it's so bitter, but with everything that it seems to be mixed with, I don't know, it's very, very good, very underrated. Like it's like all I want, like bubbly, and like it's usually mixed with bubbly. Like anything Aperol, I'm like super into right now.
Refreshing, but
Aperol
not
is-
too sweet.
Jordan, is
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
what
I
we
make a
used?
lot of.
Is that what we used on those bitter Mai Tais we made? Was that Aperol in there?
Yeah, it was. It was Aperol. Those were fantastic.
That sounds good.
It goes in a lot. It like the
They
paper plane I was talking about earlier. It's just bourbon, Aperol, no Nino, which is what goes in this, and then lemon juice, and it's amazing. And then there's a mezcal drink called a Naked and Famous, which is similar, but it's lime and something else. And they're like my favorite drinks right now.
I've been doing a lot too with limoncello. Has stolen my heart a little bit recently with gin. Doing it with gin, fresh lime, almost like a play on like, you know, like a gin and tonic mix, but with something more sweet with the limoncello, and it gives it more citrus, but using like a super floral gin. I made it for you, Justin, when we watched episodes 1 and 2 of Kenobi. That was that really, really floral gin and tonic that had like the sweet back end. It had a little bit of limoncello, and it was really good. What are you drinking, Justin?
I am drinking. If everybody can't tell, there's a crazy delay, so that's why I'm being quiet to not walk over or talk over people. But I'm drinking today the Terramana Añejo. This is
Ooh.
a little hard to find. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not crazy hard to find. It's a little hard to find. If you haven't had the regular Terramana, it's delicious. This is their Añejo, and it's also a whiskey barrel rested Añejo tequila, and it is absolutely fantastic.
Nice.
This is, if you don't know, that's actually the Rock's tequila, which is pretty funny that the
Oh.
Rock has an actually really high-end, delicious tequila, and it's not a gimmick like
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd's Crystal Skull.
Oh, very true.
But this is fantastic, and I'm drinking it out of this amazing Hourglass. Come on, focus. Hourglass laser kitten.
It looks like a,
Apocalypse glass from our local
Oh,
Hourglass.
yeah.
Nice.
It's quite
Drink local.
so
Nice.
supporting some
You're just
Hourglass, even though
drinking
I'm
it
not drinking
straight?
beer. Oh yeah,
Mm.
just sipping on it. Nothing, no ice, no nothing. Just a slow sipper.
I got a
I
couple
give
of.
this a
Go ahead, Justin.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 Hidden Jedi. I got a couple of things for you, Niles. Mi Campo, very, very good tequila. Recently discovered that I was put onto. And then there is a really, really good. Did you hear us talking about the 400 Añejos, the mezcal from Sam's that I've been buying? Have you heard us talk about that yet?
It's the Mexican 300.
No, I don't think so.
I'll get you a bottle, like $19. Really, really good mezcal.
Oh, okay.
Really good mezcal. You'd
It's
enjoy
great.
it.
Yeah, I've
you'd
been
enjoy
going
it very
crazy
much.
with the mezcal lately. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a super smooth one.
There you go, right there.
Oh yeah. I've seen that. Okay.
Dude, fantastic.
Yeah, I do remember you saying that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And it's only
Fantastic.
$20. huh?
Waka.
$20. Yeah.
Nice.
Guys, it is at this point in the episode that we're finally going to talk about Kenobi. So we're going to stop yapping about what's going down our traps, and we're going to start yapping with our traps about the #1 blue-wielding lightsaber buffoon that has stolen our hearts and probably some of the money out of our pockets.
Absolutely.
Because Ewan is just so handsome, and I'm growing a mullet and a beard. It is what it is.
Yeah.
feel like I'm
Hello
dancing super out of sync to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it doesn't take too long. So uncivilized.
The one thing, busy at work today, got up at 5 a.m. to watch the episode, and IGN beat me to it. Okay, I'm going to skip to the end. I'm sorry. I am who I am. He says hello there at the end of the episode. And I wanted to put all three of the hello there's, Revenge of the Sith, then Kenobi, and then episode 4, A New Hope. I wanted to put all of them together, and IGN beat me to it.
Oh.
And they posted the TikTok, and it's fantastic because the Revenge of the Sith hello there is very, very distinctive, and the Obi-Wan, our new one that we got today is obvious, but not in a bad way. Obvious in a good way that Ewan is imitating Alec Guinness. And then, of course, we have the Alec Guinness. And the way that they all just mesh, it was so cool. So, not that IGN needs any sort of a shout-out, but they did it, really, and it was awesome. They beat me to it.
So, we're doing this in a different format. Normally,
yes,
we would do this and do a full recap. However, this was a long episode. There was a lot in it, and
I know we're all gonna have a lot to say.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot to say, but I think this is gonna be a lot more fun. To just talk about points of the episode that we really loved, and
I'm gonna give more of an abridged version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more of an abridged version. Of course, you guys know the drill. At any point in time, interrupt me. Justin, when you're interrupting me, I'll already be 10 seconds in the future. But hey, it is what it is.
I'm literally going to be interrupting everybody constantly.
Oh, hey, it looks like you're back. And there he is, right back on course. That was a Phantom Menace reference. Guys.
Joke's on you. I said that 15 seconds earlier.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna get into it next episode. Next episode, of course, guys, as you know, we always revisit a show as a whole once it is completed. But of course, let's give our initial thoughts of this episode. I will go for first. This episode, I think it hit a lot of points. I think we were trying to lick the envelope, right? Because we needed to seal it off, signed, sealed, and delivered. But we kind of weren't there yet. We were licking it, tasted good, but we're only getting like 20% of the envelope. And it took the last episode to get the other 80%, which is not my preferred way of storytelling. But I have to say that this last episode checked off all the boxes that we were filling in on this job application to liking this show. And I gave this episode a 9 out of 10. I thought the final duel was fantastic. And I really don't feel there's anything you can say about the show that really breaks canon. There are some maybe grudge points or grind gear points, but I think they're pretty well answered in this episode. That's all I got to say.
Justin.
I agree with you, Connor. What I was saying to you today when we were on the phone is I think that this is an instance that it just really suffered from weekly releases. If this same show would have came out either bingeable or like I have been fantasizing about, if somebody with way more time than I do on Reddit could just please edit this together into one 4-hour long Lord of the Rings extended edition movie version, and maybe chop a few of the less needed scenes if you're watching it all in sequence, and like episode 4 would not be it wouldn't be such a bummer when you wait all week to have like a nothing episode. But if that's 20 minutes of a 4-hour movie, like it doesn't hit as negative. Like you kind of like, oh, there was like a weird little slow spot or something like that. But it doesn't have the same impact the way we had it waiting every week for these episodes. And I think it would make a huge difference to a lot of people, and a lot of the criticisms would decline if it was available like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Niles,
what about you?
Yeah, I think what you guys just said is exactly right. There was points where it felt like, okay, let's get on with it. We want to see more, throughout these other episodes. And then the last episode was just like, holy crap, it's everything at once. That's awesome. So yeah, I agree. Like maybe if you binged it, just watched it all at once, or even if it was in the form of a movie, I mean, that'd been maybe a lot to pack into 2 hours. But I think, yeah, I agree. A lot of the criticism stuff, it just takes some patience. You get through the whole thing, experience it as a whole, and it's good.
Yeah, the episode as a whole is a 10, and I do agree with you guys. Thinking back on it, though, I really enjoyed the show, and honestly, I enjoyed the pacing at first until I realized, oh, we're 3 episodes in, and there's still so much left to do. there's so much stuff, and then having episode 4 feel like more like a filler episode kind of made things worse. Yeah, I mean, go watch our episode. You can see exactly what we thought about episode 4. But this episode pulled everything together, pulled no punches. It really wrapped this thing up perfectly. And yeah, I'm actually going to give it a 10. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's a big number, 10.
9 out of 10 for me, I guess.
1 after 9.
But yeah, it was great.
So in starting with the show, immediately starting on Tatooine, and we kind of knew this was coming. Reva was there looking for Owen. Oh, what we got going on here?
Cyborg guts, Reba. Well, maybe not cyborg, but she's definitely hurting.
Pain.
Oh, I know it's not. I know it's not working, but anyway, yes. On Tatooine, Reva showing up immediately, kind of like we knew where it was going, right? Like we knew that Reva was going to end up going to Tatooine, and that was a big concern of mine going into this episode, because where does Reva fit in the story? So we were wondering, how does her character arc conclude, and not to spend too much time on it, but
you hated it.
Not a lot of people liked it. I wasn't a huge fan of it. And whether it's the writing, the directing, whatever it may be, I'm not in the movie industry or TV show industry. I don't know, but it seemed very, very quick, where, I think if we would have learned about her motivations earlier, it would have helped. But she is on Tatooine, and she walks up to a water vendor, and she is then able to get the name that she already knew, not only from her past experience with Owen, but the name that was said on Obi-Wan's communicator that he dropped, which was Owen, and she specifically says, "I'm looking for Owen, a farmer."
Because why wouldn't you be able to walk up to some random water salesman and give a first name and know exactly who it is?
I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna pour one out for Niles, because Watto did not show up,
Dude,
in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Opportunity.
Missed opportunity.
I know. I was hoping. I wasn't
At
like
least the store.
I know.
It looked like they were in the store in this episode, by the way. We'll get to it, but it literally looks like, because he sold his, because even in Attack of the Clones, he doesn't have his store anymore. I lost everything, right? Like, he's literally a street vendor. He doesn't have his store anymore. I do think that we visit his store that's been resold and repurposed, but it just would have. It would just would have been.
No matter.
That's my hit.
Sure,
yeah. No one's changing my mind. I really want
I
a
hope my
full.
boy's still alive.
Yeah. I want like a fan film, and I think I told you this, Niles, is like a full explanation of Watto convincing people that he owned Darth Vader. like Watto figures out that, hey, you never believe this. I used to own that guy. Like, and then let me tell you about his mother. It's about purchased goods. You know what I mean? Like, Junk would be
Genius.
hilarious. Like, again. Justin, me and you've been saying this for 3 years. A sitcom in the Star Wars universe.
In a Star Wars universe.
Belongs. There it is.
I was trying to say, well, we shouldn't do our Suka right now.
Yeah, wait, yeah, no. We'll lose our record. We'll lose our record and do it at the same time. Yeah. Moving forward with the episode, huge A New Hope vibes right off the bat. Now, usually I'm not a big fan of nostalgia and fan service, but I do think that the superstar, or not the superstar, but the Star Destroyer looked very amazing. The rest of the Pathfinders, as we coined them in our last episode, is trying to escape the Empire.
Classic
What does
shot.
Kenobi do? Classic shot. The Tantive 4, the Star Destroyer. Very agile ship, though. Reminded me almost more of the Falcon.
Falcon, yeah.
Very, very Falcon vibes, trying to, dip, dodge, duck, and weave.
Bob and weave.
Bob and weave. If you can dodge a turbo laser from a Star Destroyer, you can
Dodge a ball.
you can dodge a ball. Of course, we have more
20 years
shots.
since Dodgeball.
Fantastic movie. Still
20
underrated,
years, that's
possibly.
crazy.
Still underrated, possibly. Absolutely. Back to the Pathfinders. We have more of Corran Horn. So again, I hope that we see more of this character. Now that we're seeing such a spotlight with these child actors, with Leia, and then later on in this episode with Luke, I do hope that maybe if we don't see this child actor as Corran Horn, Justin, you can definitely chime in. Corran Horn is just a big deal, and we had so much screen time with this character, being the first family that we see that Haja gets through, and they keep panning back to this family, and Leia and young Corran have like a little thing where she's introducing Lola to him to get his mind off of what's happening.
Still being the the politician, the selfless politician, trying to shows it is a great foreshadowing to the woman she becomes as, still
100%.
a teenager, not even a full-blown woman, and she's just like ingrained into her. It's the Padme, and it's the good side of Anakin, like hardcore showing its face with her.
Justin, did you read Bloodlines as well? Yeah, and we see so much of, we get flashbacks with Leia and so much of her development and who she is as a person. We know that she goes through the spoiler warnings for Bloodline, the book, by the way. We get the reveal that, Vader is her father, and it's used against her in the Senate. It's this whole thing. But it's so great storyline, very, very important to her character. But what's more important is, again, we're seeing this development of who she is even as a young person. We're seeing that Obi-Wan is selfless and trying to sacrifice himself, and yet Leia is here giving her time to somebody else trying to do the same thing. I thought the writing was really, really good in this instance.
Yeah, really, really well done to express the concern and the hopelessness that everyone started feeling. Being chased down by the Star Destroyer. That was really cool.
What about I'm trying to find his name right now. I don't have it.
Roken?
Yes, thank you. Do you think we're gonna see more of him? Because we definitely there was later in the episode, we need people like you. We need leaders. There's not many people who can lead. I hope we get some more stories from him.
Yeah.
Was that Ice-T's son, that actor?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
Ice-T. Ice Cube?
Or Ice Cube. Sorry.
Sweet tea.
Sweet tea. Long ice.
There's an iced tea.
There's an iced tea. No, it is. What's funny is I'm wondering if this was a big troll or if the rumors were true where some things got cut out of the show, because Ice Cube was in the IMDb as a face character and we never saw him. So I'm wondering if he was cut out, or maybe he was a voice actor. Maybe he was the loader droid and we don't know it yet. He could have, maybe we don't really know.
Somebody was
Maybe
definitely
his
in there.
first name is Crushed, and his last name is Ice Cube.
Yes, that's
his
it.
son is Crushed Ice Cube.
That's
Yes,
definitely it.
that's it, dude. But to your point, Justin, I actually really enjoyed Roken, and it reminds me of Rebels, where we're seeing the introduction to all the Rebel cells, and I do hope that we see more of him because we have more interaction between Ewan McGregor and O'Shea Jackson Jr. O'Shea Jackson Jr. Yes. I don't think his acting is half bad. I think his lines were a little cliche, you know, like, oh, we gotta escape the Empire, you know, kind of like stuff like that. But still, like, I do want more from his character.
That is something you would say in this universe, though.
Yeah, true. To be fair, yeah, I can't. It is what it is. Like, you know, what am I supposed to do? Obi-Wan, of course, comes to the conclusion that Vader is all that he wants is Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this ship, which I feel the ship's a little small to have kind of like its own little ghost, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but hey, we'll let it slide. Of course, Obi-Wan says that he has to do what he must and get away. We then have the shot that I believe to be Watto's shop. Okay, now this is Owen with Luke in town. I was hoping here for a reference to Tashi Station.
Power converter.
Right then and there, I was hoping for some, you know, we see Owen standing at the workbench. He's looking at parts. He's holding it. Luke's touching all the things he's not supposed to be touching. Kind of reminiscent again of Phantom Menace, just the whole thing. And again, we have that kind of like round counter that everyone is standing at in Watto's shop. And it's probably not, but I like to think that it is. Yeah, we like to think that it is. So I was hoping to a hit at it being Tashi Station, but nevertheless, anybody else have anything?
But I mean, we saw Tashi Station in Book of Boba Fett though, so we know exactly what
True.
it looks like.
True.
Pretty much just
and it's not in town. And it's yeah, correct.
Right.
And it's not in town.
It's
And
like
they
the
still have
gas station that's like in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere, 30 miles
Truck
out
stop.
of town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And,
It's a Loves.
And,
Mhm.
and
I'll take a shower for $7.50.
and also they had the callback with the speeder belt, him breaking the speeder belt, because you know Luke breaks stuff apparently, but the callback to the speeder that was really cool.
Luke
And
is the
then,
worst character in Star Wars.
It's true. It's actually true.
And then we have the water merchant come by and be like, "Hey Owen, you're not gonna believe this."
I got ahead of myself, guys. I'm sorry. I'm very excited to get to the lightsaber duel. But after we have the water merchant, shout outs to the water merchant from Book of Boba Fett. Apparently that's like the #1 job on Tatooine. You just sell water.
They're all moisture farmers.
True. No
Yeah,
surprise.
makes sense.
Obi-Wan has the touching conversation with not only Leia, who he's kind of speaking to directly, but then he broadens his conversation to all the Pathfinders on the ship, telling them, you are the future. All of you are the future. And then, of course, Obi-Wan does what any Jedi would do, and he wants to essentially sacrifice himself. But then again, Justin, to your point, we have this cool conversation between him and Roken, and Roken kind of calls him out. You know, he says, this is about you. You want to face him, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes along with, in a few minutes after this, the next scenes that happen, Anakin is the exact same way. The Grand Inquisitor is trying to bring him back, like, no, bro, we have a whole Star Destroyer. Like, you don't need to go along. Prepare my ship. Like, he doesn't give a crap. Like, he's, like, it's him, it's Anakin versus Obi-Wan. It's Padawan versus Master. There's no stopping this from coming to fruition.
Yep.
It's absolutely personal. And Grand Inquisitor, you kind of see, gets a little peeved there when he says, follow Kenobi. And he's like, dang it.
Forget the shit.
Anytime somebody like questions Vader's orders now, I'm just like, I can't believe you have the gall to do that.
He did.
Like, I'm just
He
like,
did.
yeah, like you're gonna get choked. What are you doing?
Because the other thing to remember that we're kind of glossing over is the whole point of the Inquisitors is to seek out Jedi and Force users. So that whole ship are all Force users. It's not like it's like a ship of a rebel cell, or it's not like it's a ship of like people trying to escape for like just to get out from the Empire. But these are all Force users, possible Jedi that could turn into something to go against the Empire. So for the fact that Vader is just like, forget them, Obi-Wan, and that's it, that's awesome.
And shout outs to another character I really hope we see more of is Haja. Haja is awesome. And him, you know, his character arc through the show, as limited as we've seen him,
been a
has been
ringer.
fantastic, and I really want him again. I absolutely love the character.
Also, shout outs to Justin being Deadpool and having this tiny little baby arm.
I have. Yes,
Oh,
I know. You have a child. It just at first all you see is the hand, and it literally looked like Deadpool. Like anyway, it was just hilarious. No, I want more of Haja, whether it's again with this like sack comedy type feel or whatever it may be. This is what Justin and I have been clamoring for on this podcast for so long, is all these tiny little stories that expand the universe and don't shrink it. And one thing that I'm sure that we will talk about in the next episode as this show as a whole is when you focus on only the Skywalkers, it does make this expansive universe feel small. And characters like Haja, characters like Tala, characters like Andor, which we're getting more of, help expand this universe, and it's very, very important. And I do think that his acting, Camille, even though it was more from a point of sarcasm and humor, which is kind of like his go-to, I did still enjoy it, and I thought it was good.
Yeah, agree. 100%.
Yeah, he seems like underutilized almost because he's a good actor and it was a good character. So it'd be cool if they did something with him in the future.
Definitely.
Even if like I would just love to see him showing up in comics or something, like they like just keep him going, even if it's not necessarily like screen media, like just keep his character going like through this time frame would be awesome to have.
Mm-hmm.
And then we return to the ranch.
Back to what Justin was saying about the Inquisitor real quick, is he does specifically mention, Lord Vader, we can go after the ship and rip up this path from its roots. Like, he really does try to get Vader to understand that the importance is not Kenobi. But later in the episode, we see evolution from not only Kenobi in letting go of Anakin and letting go of Vader, but we see Vader in his interaction with the Emperor let go of Kenobi. So again, huge, great writing in this episode. Makes me wonder where it was in the first 5 episodes. Again, that's just my opinion, but great evolution to both characters leading us into episode 4.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
I'm not one, that part, the only part about that slightly in the back of my brain was kind of like, because I'm not the one that gets upset about having to suspend my disbelief a little bit and pick at that stuff. But I was just like, why are there no TIE fighters going out after these ships?
100%. I wasn't going to bring it up. But now that he's got, listen, floodgates are open. Vader would have been like, scramble the squadrons. Why didn't Vader get into a TIE fighter? He was the best starfighter in the galaxy. Like, we got to let it go.
I understand. Like,
we got to let it go.
And also, I mean, this is still, I know it's been 10 years, but you see the inexperience still from Vader.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, that's been a theme that's gone through the whole show. So
he's still not the Vader from the OT.
Exactly.
Not even the Vader from Rogue One.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree. For sure. Back on the desert planet that we love so much.
Most important
don't bring it up.
Oh my gosh, the most backwater hoodlum planet ever. Did you guys watch that TikTok I sent you of that guy who's watching Star Wars for the first time?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Hilarious. I love when he was like, yes. Oh, we're doing it.
You know what's hilarious is Liz and I were talking about that before you sent that TikTok, and then you sent that TikTok, and I'm like, oh my god. So teaser, the spoiler is it's going to be me, Connor, and Jordan drunk history style telling Liz about Star Wars.
Yes.
Recapping the story.
We have to get powdered wigs and everything.
Yeah.
Liz literally.
We're ordering them off Amazon.
I don't know how she's been married to me for going on 20 years, but still somehow just won't watch Star Wars. So we are going to drunk history style, one movie at a time. It could probably end up being Patreon content, or it
Patreon
could be a
special.
regular episode. I'm not sure, but I think it could be hilarious. If you're
It
an
would be
animator,
fantastic.
let us know, and you can draw all the pictures.
Speaking of wives who need a shout out, Baru is ready to put on straight up body
real.
armor.
Brutal mess around.
And dude, Baru, no one's messing with her blue milk. No one's messing with her succulents that she's got watering. Okay, nobody. She is playing no games.
She had
Baru
guns
and
staged through the building.
Owen's like, what do we do? What do we do? There's somebody coming. Baru's like, just like ready.
It's like
Yeah.
you seen the the videos where like
Let
the
them
girl's
come.
in bed and she like hits the headboard and a shotgun falls into her
Ex-
hands. She's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they went back to Africa to shoot at the Lars homestead.
No.
There's no way
you
because
think there's like a prop, like a set built just in
they
California
had
desert
to have
somewhere?
recreated it. They had to have recreated it, yeah, because I'm pretty sure that is one thing that Lucas put in his contract when he sold Disney is they're not allowed to touch the originals. So a fan idea that I had, and I think I texted this to both of you, is gotta fast forward to the end of the episode real quick. Sorry. When we see Qui-Gon, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need a Return of the Jedi re-edit with Qui-Gon. Like, I hope Disney messes with it and adds him, but at the same time, like, they have messed with this. They have messed with the OT trilogy. Like, we have Greedo saying McClunky now, and there's all these different things that Disney has done to the OT trilogy. So, like, we don't have copies of the original contract, but supposedly, like, they're not allowed to mess with the OG trilogy.
Yeah.
And I would assume that going to where it was shot would kind of be included in that. Does that make sense?
We already changed Old Man Vader to Hayden Christiansen Vader, and I didn't.
That was
care
done
for
before the Disney acquisition.
Right,
Yeah,
I know,
it
but I'm saying, like, I didn't care for that because, like, why would he go to a young version of himself? He should have been how he died. I just don't think I don't think we need to throw Qui-Gon in there. Like, it doesn't add anything to me. Like, I don't.
It does for me, though. I feel like I'm a prequel baby.
But you can't go retcon existing movies just for every new character that gets created in the future and then have to copy paste them into the storyline.
I agree. I just think it would be cool. I just think it would be cool. More Force Ghosts. Yoda's there. Obi-Wan's there. Anakin's there. Let's throw Qui-Gon in there. Well,
just
we don't
trying
know
to
that
say-
Kanan ever became.
I'm
Well,
just saying,
Kanan, but Kanan does talk to Rey in Rise of the Skywalker. So
Mace
He-
Windu's there.
Mace Windu's there. Back
Windu's
to
alive. He's
Mace
not there.
Windu's.
How dare you?
Dead. He's dead, Justin. Dead. Anyway, no, I want the character to come back too. Anyway, Brew is literally John frickin' Wick. Okay, guys, she has shotguns hidden all over the homestead. You think this is a pint of blue milk? Wrong. 9mm. Okay, they frantically go
slug
around the
thrower, sir.
entire. It's a slug thrower. You know what? Shout outs to Old Republic actually calling it a slug thrower. Of course, Obi-Wan finally having his plan come to fruition. Leia, she's not happy. She does not want Obi-Wan to go. Justin, you think it's a good time for you and me to talk about how this relationship doesn't break canon, or do we save that for the next episode?
Let's save it for the recap. We're already 42 minutes in, and we are.
We'll save it for the
barely
recap.
scratched.
You're right. One thing that is super interesting, I don't know if a lot of you noticed, Obi-Wan actually hands Leia something before she goes. What does he hand her? He hands her the holster
Hip
of
holster.
Tala. This is the
Which is-
holster of Tala.
Which is also very, very similar to the holster that she uses in all of her comic book series. If you look
Yes.
at it, it's not the same one
I
that
was
she
wondering-
has like in like A New Hope or anything, but through her comics, this is pretty much like what it is. Like, and it is an awesome little added piece of canon history.
Which, it's weird. that he now has this holster to give to her because she was in a closed-off hallway of which she used a thermal detonator and destroyed everything. But we're going to gloss past that. And he gives her this holster that Leia dons later in the episode. Kenobi, of course, is able to fulfill his plan, and he is able to take the small speeder that is on the ship to bring the Empire away from the ship. Of course, previously, as we talked about, we have a small debacle between the Grand Inquisitor and Vader. Vader looking polished as ever. Okay, this Rogue One version of Vader, this costume is so good. He looks so good. So good. No red lenses. I made point in writing that down.
Oh, there wasn't. Okay.
No red lenses, yes, but still looked, dude, just Vader's costume is just
Sick.
Classic.
Timeless.
Perfect. Samurai.
Dude,
It's everything about it is ominous and imposing and intimidating. I freaking love it.
he is the most recognized villain in all of cinema history. I don't think there's any debating that.
Easy for you to say.
Who would you put above him?
No, because you said Simina.
Oh, did I? Cinnamon in cinnamon history. He is the number one.
He's also the biggest cinnamon villain.
Cinnamon. Yes, he hates cinnamon. Grand Inquisitor still looks great, man. I don't care what none of y'all say. They're standing next to each other. Very Vader Emperor vibes that we kind of get like into Revenge of the Sith and into the OT trilogy. Go ahead, Justin.
Shout out to Ian McDiarmid making an appearance for this.
Crazy. Which is, he straight up, you know what?
Yes.
Star Wars Theory had a whole thing about why you just simply can't trust these actors because these actors have, is it NDA?
NDA. Yeah.
NDAs. Yes. So these actors have literal NDAs. So when they're asked questions and they're talking about it, like,
Looking at you, Andrew Garfield.
yeah, it's nothing personal. It's just they're literally held to a a contractual written agreement that if you talk about this, we ruin you.
Legally liable.
And the reason why I say that is because Ian McDiarmid at Celebration had a whole panel, and somebody literally said, hey, the Kenobi show comes out tomorrow. The timeline fits. Can we expect to see you? And his literal exact quote was, if you're expecting to see me, you will be disappointed. He literally shows up in the last episode.
But
Yeah.
I like it. Like he showed up as a hologram. Like I like it. Like you're gonna be disappointed if you're expecting to see me. He didn't lie. Like it's not like he had
though.
He didn't have a major role. He was a blue hologram. Let's give him the props for his choice.
Hey, he got a fat check, and he was in the show.
He covered himself legally. I'll say he got a win.
Yeah. Back at the Owens, the Lars homestead, Reva is approaching. Owen preps Luke for the possible doom that is coming. He says the Tusken Raiders are on the hunt again. They are raiding farms along the west. If they get in, run. So again,
this is the one thing that will, I don't know what the word is, like cover.
Concerning.
Cover, or like, I mean, we still have to remember Luke's a 10-year-old kid. Obviously, we're all kind of like, how does the dude not see the big red lightsaber and burn a mental image about Jedi, Sith, whatever? But you got to think, if you're 10 years old and your parents tell you the Tuskens are attacking, and the Tuskens are a known thing, the Sand People are a known menace on Tatooine to moisture farmers, like, you're just going to, like, assume what your parents tell you is the truth.
Yeah.
And especially, like, think back to when you were 10. What memories do you have from when you're 10 years old as an adult? Even, like, when you're 20. Like, you don't have a ton of vivid memories.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
Say that again louder for the people in the back, Justin, because that is such a good point, and that is something that I literally have written down in front of me, but you said it, and I want you to say it again.
So, yeah, like, you don't remember vivid things from your 10-year-old self. You might have what, I don't know. For me, I might have 3 key memories from being 10 years old. One of them being when I bragged to my friends that I'm in double digits, and they weren't. Like, that's like that, like, you don't remember a lot of stuff like from that time. I'm sure he remembers the trauma. I'm sure he remembers hiding and the scared feeling. Dude, he's just not gonna just like Leia's not gonna remember a ton of the super in-depth details of that whole thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like lend a lot of credence to like, oh, this breaks canon. Luke's seen a lightsaber when he was a 10-year-old kid.
Well, did he actually see it though? Because when she was chasing and stuff,
yeah,
she knocked him out. She didn't ignite until he was already passed out. I didn't.
Yeah.
think.
We'll get to that point because I saw somebody make that point. I just don't buy it. Lightsaber, like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. After he is told, "Hey, Luke, if they get through, you're gonna have to run." Vader, as Justin mentioned earlier, says, "Prepare my ship." Obi-Wan's ship makes a landing on, if we're not on a sand planet, we're on a rock planet.
Dude,
in
I
Star
was
Wars.
so scared, Connor. I was so scared that this one planet that they cut to, I'm like, God damn it, if this is Tatooine, I'm gonna blow the planet. Like, if they escaped and they're like now at like, throw the landing gear down. We're landing on Tatooine. I was so happy they weren't there.
Who has seen? And Justin, if you say the blue people, I swear to God, I will kick you off the stream.
The forehead
Who has seen Avatar: The Last Airbender in its entirety?
I've seen
Nobody.
a lot
Okay,
of
just
it.
me.
I've seen
Okay.
a lot of it, bits and pieces, but not start to finish.
First of all, you guys should all be ashamed because Mark Hamill is literally the voice actor for the Fire Lord Emperor. So you definitely need to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. Secondly,
Where Din has
this
the paint
planet with the giant rocks, so Dragon Ball Z, it's not even funny.
from. Oh yeah,
Like,
this episode has so much DBZ in it.
So much DBZ. So Obi-Wan lands on the planet, of course. Can Darth Vader get a better ship? Why does he have the E-Class shuttle?
Like that Lambda shuttle.
The E-Class!
Come on.
The E-Class!
God dang,
I
3
thought his tie
series.
was gonna come out.
Yeah, forget the E-Class. My boy is the best star pilot in the galaxy. He needs something way cooler than an E-Class. Kylo's ship is freaking sick, okay?
Yeah.
This thing is stupid.
Vader's TIE fighter is amazing.
Yeah, I
like,
thought that's what
where's
was gonna
that?
come out.
Maybe he doesn't have the interceptor yet. I don't know. Who knows? Obi-Wan lands on this planet, completely unnamed, by the way.
Irritating.
Which upsetting. Again, yeah. I wish it would have been
scoured.
We'll get
Scoured the internet.
I
trying to
did
find a
too.
name.
I did too. It'll come out eventually. It'll be named. We flash back to Tatooine, of course, the planet we cannot escape, where Reva has approached the Lars homestead. She ignites her lightsaber and she starts trekking her way through the homestead. Vader's E-Class shuttle then lands on the planet. As he walks down his ramp, no time is wasted. Obi-Wan is standing there waiting for him.
So
Connor, go ahead. Yep.
This is one of the scenes that we've talked about since the season 1 of Mandalorian. Poster-worthy scenes. This show has been lacking it.
Yeah,
The scene
that was a beautiful
where
shot.
Obi-Wan is walking towards Vader, and it's
Yeah.
like a wide shot
Yes.
landscape scene with the blues and grays of the background and those rocky crags, and the two of them are just Vader's cape and everything's flowing behind him. Obi-Wan's walking towards him. I'm like, this is it. Like, this is the first time in this entire series we've had that poster-worthy shot. Like, I want that as my desktop background. Like,
That was the
I
Last
need that.
Jedi shot. Dare I say, the great
No,
shot of The
100%.
Last Jedi with Luke and Kylo. That very cinematic wide shot. Yeah,
100%. No, you're absolutely right. And it's funny because I was listening to another podcast today.
how dare
I just sent you that picture, Justin. And that's exactly what they brought up is they were like some of the most cinematic beautiful scenes that we've seen in Star Wars are in The Last Jedi, and I 100% would agree. And as these two are approaching each other,
you got to give the Mandalorian up its credit.
and the Mandalorian, 100%. More about the scene that Justin is talking about. It's so cool because I feel like there's symmetry that we have to talk about. That maybe I'm looking too far into it, okay? But I'm going to describe the scene for you. As Vader is approaching Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan does not approach Vader. Behind Obi-Wan is we have these huge rock formations that are holding steady. They're holding tight. They are not attacking. And it goes back for me in the episode where we have Obi-Wan teaching Anakin the lesson again. And just the teachings of the Jedi it's for defense. It's not for attack. There's nothing behind Vader, and there's everything behind Obi-Wan. We have these huge, giant rock formations that have been there forever. And we have Anakin, of course, on the attack, and not Obi-Wan. And I think that was shot on purpose. I don't think that it was shot, as a coincidence. The dialogue in this scene is absolutely amazing. Vader says, quote, "Have you come to destroy me, Obi-Wan?" Which is kind of ironic because Vader came to Obi-Wan, not Obi-Wan coming to Vader. So Vader, again, trying to goat Obi-Wan into this fight, showing just how much that Anakin is still inside of him and he has not let go. And then, of course, the fanboys rejoiced. The first time they have thought this show is actually good. Obi-Wan says, "I will do what I must." And he takes his classic two-fingered stance with his lightsaber.
That's the first time we've seen him take his Soresu. I'm pouring my drink, so I'm not looking at anything right now.
Soresu,
Soresu, yeah. So that's the first time we've seen him take that
lightsaber
classic,
Form 3.
Yeah, we've seen him do that since of this series. Like every other time he's ignited his saber, every other time he's held his saber, he's been broken and disconnected. Like he's like shaky, like I don't want to turn this on. I don't want to use this. I had this buried in the sand. I have no connection to it anymore. And like this was the first time where he was like, Obi-Annie spin crazy, pose in the Soresu, and then just start wreaking havoc on Vader.
Yeah.
Like it was like, okay, Obi got his groove back. Like this is it. Let's go.
They did a good job of like gradually ramping up his skills as he, regained his confidence and everything, and it just climaxed at the end, which was like you were seeing him doing stuff you've never. Stupid. You were seeing him doing stuff.
Don't you say stupid?
Like I've never seen him this powerful, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. You've seen him do stuff you didn't see him do in the prequels.
Exactly. He seemed more powerful than he did in the Revenge of Sith duel. Like 100%. Like the things that
both of them
into in a little bit. Well, Vader obviously is like embracing the dark side. But then now we got Obi-Wan, who's been cut off from everything, but is now, after being so broken and reconnected to the Force, like he's doing things like, if this would have been Obi versus Anakin on Mustafar, it would have been lights out for Anakin for sure.
It was fantastic. Before the duel starts, we get the line from Vader that we have heard in Rebels, and I will still say that I prefer, after this duel, the Vader and Ahsoka interaction compared to this new duel that we get. But the new duel is amazing, and we get the "you will die" from Vader. As the duel commences, Vader is using his one hand, and I think Vader very quickly realizes that he must use two hands, and he switches to the Form 2. He can now no longer use the Form 5, which is also Count Dooku, all these other things. He has to switch and use two hands, which we do not see Vader do.
That's what I was going to say. That was the first time, I think, which was cool. It was like
very cool.
Me think of like, wow, that's still Anakin in there, and you're seeing his old. Even though now he's all about strength because he's not as mobile, it was cool seeing him kind of get into a position with the double-sided and shows some physicality, a little bit more.
Flashback to Tatooine. Reva is inside the homestead. Blaster fire erupts from Lars and Owen. Dude, both of them ready for a straight out shootout.
yeah.
Okay.
Absolute Red Dead
Standard
Redemption.
ground
going
law
on.
is in
Yes. Yes, it is. Like,
Tatooine's like Florida.
yeah, Tatooine is Florida. Oh,
Florida,
yeah,
Star Wars.
exactly.
Star Wars.
Florida Star Wars. There you go.
Castle.
That's a
law, bro.
t-shirt. It's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Coming soon. Coming soon. Back to the duel between Obi-Wan and Vader. They are trading blows. Rocks are getting hit by sabers.
Spin crazy.
We have overextensions of Obi-Wan's sabers are exchanging. Was it the speed of Revenge of the Sith? No. But it had the
20 years
emotional
older, let's
weight.
give 'em-
It
like,
had
but
the
let's-
emotional weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I'm so happy for them, especially like watching a lot of the behind the scenes things and how into the lightsaber duel Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christiansen were, to the point that like they obsessively practiced everything, to the point that their choreography was so crisp and fast in Revenge of the Sith that they had to slow it down. Like the duel between the two of them is slowed down to look more realistic because of how like polished and how much they loved it. So like they got to like this has got to be like 20 years.
We
of
can still hear you, Niles, by the way.
excitement and
Okay.
fantasizing. Like God, like that's so awesome. Like I'm so happy for them, and like just to see like the Obi-Wan flourishes and the spins and like
Yeah.
they fell into their old rhythm, like as Ewan and Christian or Hayden, and as Obi-Wan and Vader or Obi-Wan and Anakin, like they fell into their same rhythm. It's close.
Nice.
Show
Got
off.
it?
Shaka souffle.
I had to do it. I had to do it. We have the Obi-Anis going like crazy. It was amazing.
Man.
You spurred me, Justin. I had to. I had to. Okay, I had to.
That was amazing.
No, and it's so cool too because
Master storyteller.
it leads us to this line. Your strength has returned, but your weakness remains. And it's so cool because Obi-Wan, and we see it in such real time. Obi-Wan tries to take this rock column and tries to push it on Vader, and it falls over real slow, and Vader stops it, and then Vader picks it up and he yeets it so fast,
Like it was
just
nothing.
like it's gone. Oh well, there goes
Just like
Niles.
Niles.
Just like
we gotta keep going, guys. There's nothing we can do now.
we're already at
see
an
you.
hour.
Yeah, we're already an hour. We gotta keep going. The duel just it keeps going. Vader starts to throw rocks at Kenobi, flourishing one after another, one by one. We get a nice like hilt hit to Kenobi, hits him in the nose. We get a great lockup
he tried to
between
turn
the
him
two. Tried to turn him off. Vader again pushes Kenobi back, and as he pushes him back, we get this amazing force smash where Vader opens up the ground below him.
And
This was
literally,
when-
he's. Go ahead.
This is the moment when Frieza punches Goku into the side of the mountain, and then he goes, "Ga, ga, 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 ga." And then
Exactly.
you think Goku's dead. You think he's dead. Frieza gloats. He does something like, "Oh, look, it's like you're saying strength is nothing," and then all of a sudden the like explosion of rocks, power up. This whole thing was amazing.
the cinematography of Darth Vader putting him into the pit, and just for a second there, he's just standing there, and I'm just thinking him saying in his head, "Now I have the high ground," and then just starts piling on the rocks. Man,
I
it
don't need the
was
high
so
ground.
freaking cool. Oh
And
man,
This is something that I think a lot of people will kind of overlook is after he buries Kenobi alive. It's very reminiscent of Kenobi leaving Anakin on Mustafar to die.
yeah.
Right? Still alive,
yeah.
burned alive, very reminiscent of the two. Walks away, thinks the job is done. We go back to Tatooine, and we have Reva absolutely manhandling Owen, right? We then get he's using the same like the same crankshaft. Here's a little Easter egg, same crankshaft that we see in the Mandalorian, the same crankshaft that we see Niles's, but Kill Key Factory, we back.
I'm back.
We back.
We back. We have the same crankshaft that Owen is using that we see in A New Hope, the same one that we have in Mandalorian. That's what he's got in his hand. Yep.
Okay, cool. That was in Mandalorian. Yeah, Mando too.
Yeah, Mando
I
too.
wanna
Same
see
one that he
thing in
uses.
every Star Wars show going on at some point.
All of them.
The crankshaft.
Really weird that like there's this weird pit that with a walkway that they have to walk over in the homestead. I don't know what the purpose is of the pit, but anyway, Luke is of course able to escape the hatch and he runs away, and Reva starts chasing him. We then flash back to the unnamed planet of which Justin was just mentioning. And we have this amazing parallel that I was trying to bring out where we have Obi-Wan underneath the rocks, buried alive by Vader, very reminiscent of Mustafar. And we have this kind of cool, like, life flashing before your eyes moment where Obi-Wan realizes that his current purpose is not to save him or Anakin, but it's to save the future that he talked about literally like 10 minutes earlier. And that's Obi-Wan or Luke and Leia. So because he says that, it gives him the strength. He pushes off the rocks and he just force jumps out
Full
of the
Goku.
pit.
Now he's levitating.
yeah.
He's like powers emanating off of him.
Went full Super Saiyan.
He starts pulling
Yeah.
a spirit bomb and just sending 1,000 little
Yeah.
rocks. Dude, I
And-
love everything
and
about this.
And again, like the dialogue between Vader and Obi was just so good with and the music too. Like the first time in this show we've had good music. Like I don't know where it's been, but I'm glad it showed up in the 11th hour. Vader thinks Obi is dead. He is walking to his ship. The music starts, and of course he ignites his lightsaber and blocks against Obi-Wan again. They continue their duel with this newfound, what do you guys want to call it? Ignition, spark? What is
Vigor.
this in Obi?
Vigor. At this point in time, it was 5:40 in the morning, and I was driving down I-4, and Obi-Wan just starts wrecking Vader, and I'm
Yep.
literally like I'm like the only person on the road, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. My phone is in the gauge cluster, which I am fully not paying attention to while I'm driving. Like I'm watching. I was like the sparks across the chest, like body shot,
that
body
was
shot,
so
face
awesome.
shot. Like I was like, oh my god, it's happening. Oh my god.
Before we get the body shot, we get the force push from Obi, which
the
is
power
mirrored. Dude,
That was
and
my first scream was the push. And
bro,
it kept getting better.
it reminds me of the old Republic Satele versus
Malgus.
Darth Malgus, where she force pushes him into the rock, and again like this very Dragon Ball Z like hit, and again Force Awakens Force Unleashed with Starkiller versus Vader when he throws him through all the walls. Just we've never seen this in Star Wars, where even though the Force bubble that we talked about in episode
Live action.
3,
We shouldn't say Star Wars. Live action.
yes, live action, where this force bubble is protecting you, it doesn't mean that force bubble can't be moved in you with it. So even though Vader hits that wall, there's a layer of protection there, and it just shows how strong in this new power that Obi-Wan has found. And we get the
Doing
same
what he must.
we get this same groan, this from Vader that we hear in Return of the Jedi with Luke versus Vader. And it's just, again, like James Earl Jones, like everything for me is flowing in this scene.
Man.
I need to get to the point where we talk about the voice fading in and out of different voices. 'cause
All right, we're getting there. I'll speed it up. Obi-Wan,
Yes. That was
using the power of the Force, picks up every freaking rock my guy can hold.
I'm like a mile
And
away.
I just like, shoo. My dude is an earthbender, just yeeting all the rocks. Very similar. Again, it makes me wonder, where did Vader get the idea to throw all the boxes at his son in Empire Strikes Back? Right?
Good point. Good
Obi-Wan
point.
move.
rock after rock, Vader is getting absolutely pelted. After Vader has had enough, he makes a move and Obi-Wan encloses. The Vader fight continues, but before it is ended, Reva is chasing Luke. Again, it looks like a small canyon outside of the Owen Lars homestead. I will say,
point where I got angry. I'm like, go back to what you were showing. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't care about
Star
this.
Wars does this thing where they have the climactic moments all going on.
Yeah.
And ever since the OT, they've done this where they'll show you a little bit of one, then cut to the next, and cut back and cut back. And like, I don't know if I'd like it or not. Like, it'd be cool to experience it, each thing happening separately on its own.
Yeah.
Because I'm like so into it, and then it cuts away to this other thing happening, and like my hype just goes, you know.
Yeah.
And it's always done that in Star Wars, but yeah.
I'll say that there was still tension. Like, we know nothing's
we
happening
knew-
to Luke, but what
Exactly.
happens to Reva?
Exactly.
So I get what you're saying, Niles, 100%, but at least there was still tension. There was still stakes. We might have not been invested in the character of Reva, but we know that she doesn't appear that we know of later. So something would happen to her. So there were at least still stakes. Were they huge stakes? No, but
Yeah. I guess it's just the adrenaline from the lightsaber. Anytime you cut away from that,
yeah.
a little bit, you know, you're it's kind of like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
Especially
No.
with a scene that has as much stakes as this battle had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as Justin brought out, the two Force users continue to clash, Obi-Wan getting the better of Vader, as the two literally lock hands, very similar to the Obi-Annie flurry that we see in Revenge of the Sith. Instead of exchanging a Force push together, they literally lock hands. Obi-Wan then uses the butt end, the pommel of his lightsaber, to literally destroy the front chest piece of Vader,
His
also
life support
slashing him
system.
on the back. Literally.
That
Life
was
support system. That's the
savage.
whole point of what that is.
And you
Then-
just hear him wheezing. Oh,
Then using more of his Force powers, more of his lightsaber, jumping off a rock and Supermaning that hoe. Literally. Superman, literally. Then he just... He slashes him across the left side of the face. As Vader is wheezing in the beginning intro that you heard in this episode, we hear quite possibly the best dialogue exchange in all of Star Wars, which has become my third favorite scene in all Star Wars. Do you guys have a
Episode is your
favorite?
third favorite scene?
No. Yes. So this scene right here that we're going to talk about, which is Vader kind of demasked. My first favorite scene, Diego Luna. I have been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Pinnacle Star Wars. The delivery, amazing. My second favorite Star
You're my
Wars scene of
brother,
all
Anakin.
time. Nope. My second favorite Star Wars scene. I see you have constructed your new lightsaber. Indeed, you are powerful. Vader and Luke on the little platform on Endor. This is my now third favorite Star Wars scene in all of Star Wars.
Nice.
it's
was powerful.
amazing.
The
Touch on the eyes that we talked about. His eyes are blue in this scene. Is it a mess
So-
up or is he conflicted?
so Obi cuts open the mask of Vader, and he literally voices the words Anakin. Vader replies, "Anakin is gone. I am what remains." In this very scene, we do not see Sith eyes. Obi-Wan sighs. Ewan McGregor sells this so hard. Tears welling. The
yeah.
emotion is seen on his face. And better yet, the direction from Deborah Chow as the blue lightsaber dawns itself in the reflection on Obi-Wan, signifying the light of the Jedi. I am so sorry, Anakin. I am sorry for everything. For all of it, says Obi-Wan Kenobi. As Darth Vader continues to wheeze, we still do not see literally the yellow eyes of the Sith. Darth Vader replies, "I am not your failure, Anakin." Looking back at Obi-Wan, he says, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did."
Yep.
And at this point in time, he smiles when he says this.
Oh, he
And
did.
he smiles. If you
missed that.
go back and watch, he smiles and he says, "I did." And we still have this great mix of blue and red lightsaber being reflected on Hayden Christensen's face in the mask of Darth Vader, of course. And then we cut back to Ewan as we are seeing what he is realizing is that his friend Darth Vader is dead. And as we go back, he says, "The same as you did, I will destroy you." Then we have all the red dawn, Hayden Christensen, and Darth Vader's face. Then we can truly see the outline of the pupil, which would not be blue. It is yellow.
Yeah.
So this also fixes to A New Hope plot.
Yes.
holes, which is amazing. First
You're
one
steal-
being
Uh-huh.
I'm stealing your content.
It's okay. Go ahead.
It's mine now.
Go ahead. I love it.
It fixes two things. It fixes
Yes.
the first thing. Everybody always complained that old Ben lies to Luke and say that Darth Vader killed his father.
Yeah.
Now
The certain point of
here
view
it is.
line.
Yeah, from a certain
Wow.
point of view.
Yeah.
So now, like, here is Anakin saying that Darth killed Anakin. He's like, he did it. Following it
That's
up
awesome.
with the other plot hole, which when they have the scene 46 in A New Hope, where
38.
Obi-Wan, 38. Sorry, I knew it was like a even number.
Chocolate souffle. You got it.
But like when Darth Vader and Old Ben meet each other and they have their duel where he inevitably gets struck down, he calls him Darth.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, why are you calling him like in the future, like why are you calling him Darth? Like that's just a title. That's like calling somebody King Vader. Like why'd you do that? But here we get like this is like where it's coming from. Like Anakin's dead. Anakin's been murdered. He's calling him Darth right here. Like I just loved it. Like this is Ben. This is Obi-Wan. Like, and you get to see kind of the pain and the suffering behind both of those two things that have been kind of picked apart because people have nothing better to do with their time. But now, like, it's been retconned in a positive way instead of everybody who's tried to pick this show apart in negative things and like, oh, this breaks canon. No, it doesn't. Like, they've done it in a very tasteful way.
Definitely wouldn't use the word retcon in this anymore. Retcon, non-canon, none of that can be referenced at all. Because Obi-Wan specifically says, a young pupil of mine, Darth Vader, betrayed and murdered your father. And we see this appeal that you and me talked about, Justin, is we were hoping that we would see this appeal from Obi-Wan that we never saw between Revenge of the Sith and the original trilogy. And we see this appeal from Luke Skywalker. We see this appeal that Obi-Wan wasn't enough. It was his
Obi was
son
almost begging.
that...
Yeah.
And again, Anakin approaches him, or Obi-Wan approaches Vader as Anakin. He never referred to him as Darth Vader, even though Reva had already told him he is who he is. He has already encountered him. He has already seen who he has become. He is still appealing to him as Anakin. And as he walks away, he says, "Goodbye, Darth." Literally calling him by the title of the Sith, Darth. He does not murmur the words Vader, but he does say Darth, the actual title of the Sith. One thing that I also want to point out.
It's not
Go
his
ahead.
first experience with a Lord of the Sith. Like we knew that there was Darth Sidious. We knew that there was Darth Tiberius. Like it's not
Darth
like
Maul.
Darth Maul. Like it's not like Obi-Wan's learning this title for the first time right now. Like this is 100% based on their relationship.
Yeah, 100%. One thing that I definitely want to point out too is when we see Obi-Wan or Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi, I really think that this is where we see the giant mark on his head come from, because there's an actual still frame where the helmet is exposed and we do see the gash on his head. So the
Where I
giant
thought my Snoke
gash.
prediction was going to come through. Back in the
Oh,
day.
like the clone. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a little tidbit. You know, I think, again, it's too close to call. I think that whether you assume that it is or whether you assume that it isn't, either way, it works. But I think that it works either way. Back to the planet of Tatooine, Reva, of course, is confronting Luke. She tracks him down, confronts him. And as many people like to say, that Luke did not see their lightsaber. Unfortunately, you're wrong. As she ignites her lightsaber and pulls her lightsaber up to kill Luke, to take away and to exact her revenge on Darth Vader, she has flashbacks to Vader stabbing her for the very first time, which leads her to lower her lightsaber and bring the young boy back to the homestead.
Good girl, Reva.
Good girl, Reva. Look, Reva puts her lightsaber down. There's an intimate moment between her and Obi-Wan. Let's talk about it. How did you feel about it? Is this it? How did you feel about the arc of the character? Are we going to see her again?
This is all Obi-Wan wants to do, is forgive and give second chances. Like, this is probably the most Obi-Wan thing he could possibly do. Like, he would have forgiven Vader. Like, if with that mass slash and broken and everything that Vader did with Order 66 and the younglings, immediately would have forgiven him if he showed this glimmer of remorse. Yeah. And I love, like, this redemption arc for Reva is at least one positive for him. Like, he's got like, I know you don't like the character, Connor. You want her to end. I kind of love the idea of her now, like, being this inside information type of person who now starts helping the Pathfinders or something like that as, like, an ex-Inquisitor. I don't know. There's, like, a cool option. Like, I don't want to see it on the screen. I will throw that as a caveat. Don't want a show. Don't want a movie. Don't want anything. But I'd be down for, like, a novel or a graphic novel, a comic book or something where she's still continuing and they can develop the character some more. And, like, maybe she makes some awesome sacrifice by the time, like, the rebels start being built up or something. I don't know. Like, I think that this redemption for her was a good thing.
Yeah. It was better than just killing her off.
Yeah.
Because it's a waste of a character development, and it would have been even more of a letdown for her to... Honestly, I thought she was going to take her own life, if I'm being honest. I thought that's how her story was going to end, but I'm glad that they didn't. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Justin. It is a character that maybe would be good in other media and other stories to just add another layer for sure.
Yeah. I love that ending with Obi-Wan. Like you were saying, Justin, like, he's always been my favorite Jedi. Like, he, to me, I guess when I think of what a Jedi should be, I think of Obi-Wan, you know, and just how noble he is and how immediately he just was so quick to forgive, you know, and that was super cool. I just love that, how he just instantly was, you know, looking for that redemption in the character.
So I will say that when Justin brought that to my attention, 100% completely agree with Justin that is such a Obi-Wan thing. I was very much expecting a seppuku, which is that samurai style. You know, she pulled out her saber. I was really expecting her
one time somebody, like, made her go
and, like, not work. Oh, just one time. Well, you know what? Let's be honest. She's survived 2 stabbings. She was gonna survive a third. Like, it does open up
her processor.
It does open up.
Realistically, that's probably how she survived. Like, they probably, like, went into the part that's already been stabbed, and it's like Fennec Shan style guts in the same spot. That's probably the only way she even survived.
It does open a big story point for the character, right? We could have she become a bounty hunter, she become a mercenary, she could become so much more. Does she have screen time? Maybe not. Maybe so. You know, again, I was not a huge fan of the character. I just feel that she took up a lot of screen time when the story was about Obi and Vader. If we had an Inquisitor show, I think she'd be a 10 out of 10 character. But when she's, in my opinion, distracting from Vader and Obi. Go ahead.
Going along with it, exactly what you're saying, she doesn't need to be on screen for this simple reason, at least for me. Most of the characters that are in Star Wars that I have fallen in love with as a character themselves are not from their movie appearance. It's the in-depth stories that you get in other forms of media that you actually can like. They have the time if you read a novel as a 15-hour novel, there's much more time for character development, inner monologue, story-driven things that you just don't have in a movie. Like, I don't need her in a movie to think that I'm going to like her as a character. Like, she would do so much better. Like, the characters I love the most are not from, like, what I saw in the movie. It's like you may have saw them and introduced to them in something in a movie or a show, but then it's the other forms of media that they can be embraced into and then delved into and plenty of time spent to make them interesting, which is honestly what is desperately lacking in the Skywalker sequel trilogy. There is nothing for these guys. Like, there's no side stories. There's no novels about Rey. There's no novels about Kylo. We get some comics on his history, but like that's the stuff where you.
It's
actually
very
fall in love
brief.
with these.
It's very brief.
Like that's
let's
what's
wrap.
benefit.
Let's wrap this up and then we'll revisit this. I want to get through the recap. We of course have Ian McDiarmid, reprising his role as the Emperor. And the very specific line between the two that, again, that we show this character evolution is, perhaps your feelings of your old master have left you weakened. If you cannot overcome what is of Kenobi, and then Vader says, Kenobi means nothing. So it's cool that Vader has completely let go of everything that we see in this show. And again, it ties into A New Hope where we get the I have felt a presence, or what does he say exactly? I haven't felt this presence since the last time, and then he walks away, right? So he literally let go of everything that was Kenobi. And it wasn't until Kenobi was 5 feet away from him on the Death Star that he's like, oh, yeah, I remember this. So he truly did let go.
Do you guys think
Just
that
like
the
that.
Emperor knows how wrecked he got? Do you think the Emperor knows Vader was like a sliver away from getting killed for a second time by Kenobi?
Nah, I don't think so.
Or you think it
That's
was
the
all
first
think so.
time. That's the first
Yeah.
time we've ever seen Vader get wrecked, isn't it?
Oh, Ahsoka wrecked his crap.
Yeah, kind of.
Ahsoka wrecked his crap.
Yeah.
Ahsoka came in like, it's John Cena. Just like, come on, bro.
That beating though, like when he was like hitting him in the stinking chest, like life support.
Dude, shout out to that armor. Why does
awesome.
nobody else have that armor?
You know, it's a cool thing, you know, even though he's a punk A-B and you seem to like him for whatever reason, you know, Batman also has a cape.
How
that
dare you son of
Vader's cape, if you guys don't know, in the Vader comics, there's a big explanation about his cape. It's like Kevlar today. Like, his cape's like a big deal. And when Obi slashes him across the back, like, it doesn't penetrate anything. And that's actually another point that people brought up in the show that is like a big canon breaking thing where they were like, oh, Obi-Wan was like hitting stormtroopers and he wasn't decapitating them and this, that, and the third. Well, newsflash, there's two canon instances where we have Jedi training people or other people explaining the use of a lightsaber where if you're not one with the weapon, it's not as effective. And secondly, literally Luke hits Vader on the right shoulder in Empire Strikes Back, and guess what Vader doesn't lose? His right arm.
It's not crazy to think that if the Jedi and the Sith know about Beskar and a form of armor that can deflect lightsabers,
Cortosis.
Cortosis, exactly the same. Who's to say this isn't something that's just it's not a plastoid like the stormtroopers, then it's just painted gloss black. There's
and
no
guess
reason
what?
to not assume that.
All of the hulls of the Republic cruisers are made of Cortosis.
Cortosis, yeah.
Cortosis is
Phasma's armor.
Cortosis is no, she was made from a
Oh, she was
Naboo.
the Emperor's ship. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Not Cortosis, but anyway, Cortosis is another. Shouts to the Bane trilogy. When we meet Bane, he's mining Cortosis on a asteroid, and Cortosis is another fiber in the Star Wars universe that has the ability to deflect laser power, whether it be blasters, it's
weapons.
energy deflected, energy absorption, like it just it absorbs it, deflects it, and we've never had a canon explanation of it, but again, there's plenty to it.
Dude's like the most powerful Sith. Like, why would he not know of a material that can deflect a lightsaber? Like the one weapon that could kill him. Like, why would he not have something that could deflect that when it's a known quantity in the universe? It's pretty fair to
and he wields a saber.
Yeah.
Finishing the recap, and then we'll give our final thoughts. Obi-Wan and Leia have, honestly, possibly their most retouching union in the entire Kenobi series. Revisiting Alderaan of Planet, which I really hope that we visit in other parts of Star Wars canon if we are able to go back. Super amazing. I loved
Let's
all
go in the Andor
dude,
show. Let's go.
all the visuals. Let's go to Alderaan. Let's do it. We have this amazing interaction between Obi-Wan and Leia. Now, Justin, if you remember, I want you to kick this off because pretty much the episode is over at this point. He does go back to talk to Luke. We can do that, but let's talk about how a lot of people talked about this broke canon with Leia not remembering Obi-Wan. If you remember the article, there's multiple points, not just the article, but let's talk about why it makes sense of how Leia interacted with Obi-Wan via the hologram message to what we saw in the show now.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's somebody else want to take it, or it's
Go ahead. No, I
it's
want you,
perfect.
Justin.
Like, so many things in this show are almost, I don't know what the word is, like traps. Like, people have set traps, like, to try to find something wrong rather than enjoy the show. This is another one it's done just so well. Like, what does he say? I'm a tired old man. Like it's just done so
100%.
well. And like, I don't know. Somebody else take it because I'm getting frustrated.
Well,
I feel like I'm harping on the same thing so many times. I don't want to do
You're
it.
not. But
Go ahead,
go,
Niles.
Jordan.
No, Niles.
Oh, I was just saying. I noticed that she called him Obi-Wan, so that kind of
Instead
like
of Ben.
okay, right. So when the message says "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi," I mean, it still doesn't really. The part where she says "You served my father in the Clone Wars" is still kinda
Completely
like,
true.
well, it is true, but you see, like, well, why would she need to say that if
That's
they've
her
had
politician version of herself.
Right. That never bothered me, but I guess if you were going to nitpick it, you could still say, well, why would she say you served my father in the Clone Wars when they have this relationship already? But
She's 10.
I don't care. I like that they addressed
But
it,
she in the exact same movie, she displays where she's at with this relationship. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
Ben Kenobi.
I have your R2 unit. I'm here with Ben Kenobi. Ben Kenobi, where is he? All of a sudden, she clearly knows who she is. There is a diplomatic message that she had to send in case it was intercepted, right? Now, of course, she gives her
acceptable to me. Yeah, that never bothered me really.
And also he gives the warning of, people can't know that we know each other. There's danger in that. He brings that up.
He does.
So,
Great point.
And so, saying that you served my father during the Clone Wars doesn't tie her to him. It just ties some kind of relationship.
There's a connection there.
Yep.
It's to me, like, it's just another great example of the character of Leia and what they put into her. And like, she has a vulnerable side, she has a personable side, but then she also has this switch. She can flick it on, and she's like by the books politician. And the rescue message that's on the Tantive when they're being attacked by Vader and about to be captured and she's about to be tortured, she knows she's about to be tortured. That could be intercepted so easily. So she sends
I am on
the
a
political
diplomatic mission
message.
set to Alderaan. You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take
There
her
is
away.
no reason. There's no reason besides this show's explanation as to why she would react to Ben Kenobi if she had only known him as Obi-Wan. You served with my father.
Perfectly good
Like-
point. But nobody would talk about that. They're just going to nitpick about this other stupid thing that can be explained.
Haters gonna hate.
Exactly.
Going
I'm not going to harp on it anymore.
Going to the end of the episode, we see the final evolution of Obi-Wan Kenobi. As he
This isn't even my
approaches...
final form.
This isn't even my final form. As he approaches Frieza Form 4 and the final form, he is able to let go of Luke. Again, the writing finally showing its roses, finally showing our summer, our spring. Where has the writing been to this point? Now, again, to Justin's point, maybe this series would have been better in a bingeable form, and I wouldn't be saying it in the way that I am. And I will agree with that. I am saying this with a caveat. We have the touching moment where Obi-Wan is able to meet Luke. And, of course, we get, hello there. We get our
T16. Here you go, buddy.
He finally is able to give him his Skyhopper T16.
I thought he was going to say it when he got Lola. Like, I was waiting for it then.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
oh, they're not going to
exactly.
do it. But yeah, snuck it in at the end.
Perfect timing.
Ewan McGregor, again, giving fantastic lines and fantastic delivery, telling Owen that you're the only protection he needs. Again, showing the evolution of the character of Obi-Wan, that he has finally let go of not only Anakin, but also Luke. More things tying him to the Skywalker bloodline, to the prophecy that has yet to be fulfilled, that he, of course, will be brought back into when he is a Force Ghost himself. As he leaves, and he is riding his Eope Roo.
You know that they're actually camels.
We are... Yes,
Like,
they are
like,
actually
where
camels.
Where they're shooting this, they're camels.
Yes,
and
they're
the
camels.
CG of the face off.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We are confronted with Liam Neeson. Well,
His beard looked weird, right?
He
Well,
looked a little off, but
His beard looked weird as
He looks a lot older.
he looks a lot older. It took you long enough. And then, of course, Obi-Wan replies, Master Qui-Gon, beginning to think you'd never come. I've always been here, Obi-Wan, watching. You were just not ready to see.
Like, were you watching everything?
Come on. We have
Like,
a
I'm
ways
number 2.
to go. Harkening
I
back
love
to
this.
Revenge of the Sith. Where-
loved-
Go ahead.
ahead.
You're interrupting
I
me
love-
constantly.
I can't tell. I'm sorry. Dude, it's so hard with the time delay.
I know.
It's not on purpose.
I know. Go ahead.
I loved, like, this is like, for this being the Obi-Wan series, this was an awesome, like, full circle culmination of everything. Like, we saw him broken, we saw him distraught, like, mundanely just freaking cleaning desert sushi, chopping it up. Like, obviously not doing what he should be doing.
Desert sushi.
Desert sushi.
He
True.
has no connection to the
True.
Force. He has
False.
He has no, but he's still talking to Obi-Wan. He was like, oh, master, blah blah blah. Like, but he's got no connection to the Force, to the point where he comes full circle. He meets Leia. He goes through this. He finds out Anakin is still alive. He's become Darth Vader. He faces his own. What's the word? Defeat. Like.
Demons.
Like his own demons. Like, he's messed up. He has gone wrong. Like, he's failed Anakin as his master to a Padawan, and he's then accepted the responsibility. He's for the second time technically, and then he's able to reconnect with the Force into such a much more powerful way than he ever was before, and that's then Obi-Wan can appear, or Qui-Gon can appear to Obi-Wan. Like, it was like a great circle moment.
Yeah, he came to terms, and it was neat because at the start of the show, I was like, is he just sworn off the Force and all this just because he's in hiding?
Yes.
And it kind of
Yes.
made you realize it kind of made you realize that part of it too was him dealing with Anakin, and
Because you
not
know,
coming to terms
Yoda
with
wasn't
it.
swearing off the Force.
Right. Yeah. So it was cool to see, and that moment with Anakin with the mask, and they were having that, and he welled up. Like I teared up. Like that was wow. You know, it still was affecting him, and just to see that weight is off him, even though he couldn't redeem Anakin, he accepted. Okay, he's Darth, and he can move on. So
Yeah, and seeing Qui-Gon, seeing 70-year-old Liam Neeson reprise his role.
Man, he's
and
70?
Still, he is 70 years old.
When are we gonna get
crazy.
another Taken movie? We need Taken, kind of.
He's had 2 movies already this year. So.
He says, you took my Padawan's nephew, weird youngling. I will come for you.
Specific set of skills attached to my walker.
Yeah. No, okay. In all honesty, let's wrap this up. We're an hour and 20 or so in. All right.
Hour and 40.
I'm sticking at a 9 out of 10. I think that we've talked about this before, Justin. You cannot look at things at a vacuum. I feel that I was a victim to looking at this show at a vacuum. At the same time, I will say, as a caveat,
don't give your full series.
You're right.
Just this one.
No, I'm not. Okay, you know what? You're right, because this is like a series thing as a whole. Okay, it's still 9 out of 10. Very glad Liam showed up. I wish he would have shown up sooner. I wish that Liam would have shown up to give
I call that
Obi the courage to defeat Vader. Would have been more compelling than him just being like, oh, like Leia and Luke. Anyway, that's all for me.
Yeah.
Jordan, go.
It's fantastic show all around. I really love this episode. Justin brought it up, but I'm going to bring it up too. The interchanging voice between Hayden Christiansen and James Earl Jones when he has the Master. Oh man, so good.
The audio there was so cool, and it was like just chilling because they kind of distorted his voice, and it was cool.
Technical failure, and like, oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
Niles, give your this episode rating.
Yeah, I'd say 9 out of 10. It was. I need to rewatch it because I just watched it right before we did this, and I need to let it sink in more. But definitely a 9 out of 10. I think every minute of it was just what it's just awesome.
For me, this was an absolute 10. Like, it was a 10 for me. Like, not the whole series. This episode was a 10 out of 10. It literally checked the boxes of everything I could have wanted. I got fantastic choreography and lightsaber. Uh-oh.
I don't have my blade in.
You are missing a blade, sir.
Sorry, Justin.
That one.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Are you?
10 out of 10. I got my Obi-Wan. Boom.
Oh, nice. Oh, I got to get one now.
I can't reach for mine. Noise.
It's set to red.
Noise.
That's not good.
For those listening on the podcast, they're showing off lightsabers.
Sorry,
Connor's got his.
easy with these.
Listen, this episode was freaking fire. Okay,
10 out of 10.
it was 10. Okay, 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Another
9
10
out of 10. It was 9 out of 10. Listen, there were still some things that, the writing wasn't perfect, but that's okay. We're getting new Star Wars, which is what we've been clamoring for. Taika Waititi has officially said like he's moving away from the Skywalkers, which we'll get more into that in our series recap. But episode was awesome, man. I don't know what the heck is going on. What are you doing, Justin?
I'm playing with lightsaber. Sorry.
I was your boy. It's Con. And sitting to my right, virtually, the Cantina Splicer.
The casual kid.
The one that is on the delay.
2 hours later, Justin.
And below us, use the coupon code Cantina for 10% off your order at Kill Key Factory for all your LGT and
let's go.
Not. Oh yeah, I gotta get you your thing. So I got you one. Don't worry. We'll come back to that.
I got your greebles. Hit me up.
Greebles. You got your greebles, guys. We'll catch you guys next time. It was we didn't say, but it was Niles. So yeah.
Yes. Philippine Islands.
Okay, factory. Okay,
If
goodbye.
you made it this far, then you get $5
Yeah.
message